Since the pickings for sports titles, particularly in the indie space, have been quite slim on the Switch, I'm always excited to check new ones out. Having the Looney Tunes characters involved, I'll admit, propped up my hopes even more so since I have fond memories of playing the solid NBA Jam-esque Looney Tunes b-ball back on the SNES. As the name implies, rather than focusing on only one sport, this collection tries to tackle 4 of them. And while they vary in their level of success, they still may provide some fun for the right crowd. Starting with the highs, we have both its version of basketball and soccer, with each of them adopting a pretty familiar format in the mold of classics like NBA Jam. You'll work both on offense and defense to try to beat the other team. While I'm not particularly enthused with the lack of a turbo button to move more quickly and help control my players' power meters, they both at least do a reasonable job of giving you an opportunity to play some tougher defense and then take the ball the other way to try to score, occasionally being able to use your special attack for some character-based bonus fun. Of the two, quite sensibly, basketball is easier to wrap your arms around. But with some time and trial and error, I was able to work out how to be better at scoring in soccer as well. One complaint is that even when playing against the CPU set is easy, the defense tends to be pretty smothering, particularly in soccer, but again it is manageable in both cases, and these can be fun enough to play against the CPU or your friends. On the lower end of the spectrum we have tennis and golf, though I'll be clear that I at least consider tennis to be the better of the two in terms of overall implementation. Hitting the court, on the whole the play isn't terrible, but I would say that it feels more on the limited side in terms of ambition. You will be able to volley reasonably well, and you have a few different types of shots you can use that correspond to the different face buttons. The problem is more that, in general, matches tend to be a bit bland, and your lack of more nuanced control of the ball is tied directly to that problem. In the case of how it implements golf, a huge piece of the problem is that decades of titles have already done it better. Planning your shot is a challenge because you're often unable to get a good view of where the ball will go. Then, once you do shoot, the lack of decent depth perception can make it hard to track how your ball is traveling, especially if it bounces. While it may be playable, I'd say, it's clearly the least polished and fun of the bunch. Taking a look at the entire package, there is some value to be had here. Granted, part of the reason it gets a little leeway is the fact that, outside of first-party offerings, there's a general lack of titles in this vein on the system. While I do wish the developers had been able to capture just a bit more of the core spirit and feel of the NBA Jam titles, on the whole, it isn't all that bad if you're looking for a very arcade-like experience to enjoy with some friends. Overall, my final score for the game ended up being a 6.5. And if you're interested in picking it up, it's currently available on the Switch eShop for $49.99. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this review. And if you'd like more information or ideas of indie games worth checking out on Switch, be sure to click on the link provided in the description. Until next time.